This is a very interesting story that we have to talk about. Hillary Clinton decided to go after 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard over the weekend. Tulsi Gabbard has fired back, and the most important top line analysis of this entire story is that this is the best thing to ever happen to Tulsi Gabbard. And I'll explain why. Hillary Clinton did a podcast interview with David Plouffe, who is Barack Obama's former campaign manager. And during this interview, she made a bunch of different claims. She said the Russians are leveraging numerous American politicians. Russia may have compromat, meaning compromising information about Donald Trump. She says she believes that 2016 Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein is a Russian asset. And she suggested that Tulsi Gabbard is backed by Russia and might even be supported by Russia to run third party in 2020, which could potentially spoil the election for the eventual Democratic nominee and help Donald Trump get reelected as president of the United States. Her exact quote is, quote, "They're also going to do third party again. I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on someone who's currently in the Democratic primary, and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far." So this then sets up Tulsi to fire back at Hillary Clinton in a series of, quite frankly, pretty wacky tweets, but it doesn't even matter at this point because Hillary has stepped in it so severely. Tulsi Gabbard saying, "Great, thank you, Hillary Clinton. You, the queen of warmongers, embodiment of corruption and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long, have finally come out from behind the curtain. From the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerted campaign to destroy my reputation. We wondered who was behind it and why. Now we know. It was always you. Through your proxies and powerful allies in the corporate media and war machine, afraid of the threat I pose, it's now clear that this primary is between you and me. Don't cowardly hide behind your proxies. Join the race directly." The reason that this is wacky is the same reason that Tulsi has been wacky all along, which is that Tulsi Gabbard has been pretending or claiming that the DNC and the establishment are stopping her in the 2020 campaign in the same way that they stopped Bernie in 2016. This is delusional, and I'll explain why momentarily. But the main point is this attack by Hillary against Tulsi is the best thing that has ever happened to her. Tulsi Gabbard has been polling on average between 0.6 and 1.5%. I believe at the latest she was averaging 1.2% in the polls. She never had a shot at securing the nomination. Other than a few moments in debates, she made Tim Ryan look bad in one debate. That's the one that stands out to me. She had a couple of other moments. No traction. Other than, her followers say she gets a lot of web searches after debates, which doesn't seem to be helping her polling at all. She hasn't even made all of the debates. She's got bad takes on a lot of issues. She's dabbling with Republican framing all the time. Check out her recent interview with cultural critic Dave Rubin as an example. And so what Hillary Clinton is doing by attacking Tulsi Gabbard is helping her fundraising, potentially going to help her polling, maybe help her qualify for the fifth debate in November, which she otherwise may not have. As of a few days ago, she had not qualified for it. The tide has been turning more and more against Tulsi Gabbard because she's saying more and more ridiculous things about the Kurds and Syria and Modi and the DNC and Assad. Her bogus grandstanding threat to boycott the fourth debate, which of course she didn't do. It was clear that Tulsi was about to disappear. And in comes Hillary Clinton and revives attention for Tulsi Gabbard. A very dumb move. Now, let me address Tulsi and her followers framing Tulsi as the screwed candidate of 2020, just like Bernie was screwed in 2016. This is a ridiculous comparison. There are two main differences between Bernie 2016 and Tulsi 2020, and they're not small differences. The differences are public support and progressive change makers, okay? Bernie Sanders polled as high as 47% in 2016. He had gained the support of nearly half of the Democratic primary voters. Tulsi Gabbard has not polled more than, two in some polls, 3 maybe in one poll in the entire primary. Tulsi Gabbard does not have and has never had the support that Bernie had in 2016. So to equate the campaigns and to argue that the DNC and establishment have screwed Tulsi just like they screwed Bernie out of the nomination is laughable. And anyone who believes that that is a case that can be made empirically either doesn't know the facts or is deliberately not paying attention to them. That's number one. The second difference between Bernie 2016 and Tulsi 2020 is that Bernie's 2016 campaign was a progressive campaign that actually ran on shaking up the establishment status quo of campaign finance, of healthcare, on a long list of issues that have become progressive mainstream in 2020. Bernie's progressive 2016 candidacy really threatened the establishment and changed the way that Democratic politics is done with the huge growth of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. Tulsi is running more and more to the middle. She's not for Medicare for all. She's not clearly even in favor of impeaching Donald Trump, even for the inquiry. She's not clearly for defending the Kurds, and on and on and on. She's running on the repeated slogan, "No more forever wars," in a geopolitical vacuum. There are people who have fallen for that and said that's the progressive hero. That's great. That's progressive. But the idea that her campaign is anything like Bernie's in 2016 in terms of the impact it would have on the establishment and the impact that it has on challenging the status quo is ridiculous. But in the end, thanks, Hillary, Tulsi may now last a little bit longer thanks to this entire thing, and just yet another major, major misstep by Hillary Clinton.